Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first behind the scenes interview for one of our stories, Operation Osiris. I want to bring on board the writer of the story, Tiana Petkovska. Hey, Tiana, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Guys, before this, we were actually discussing Operation Osiris Part 2 because we we already talked to the Dark Somnium for part 2, so he's on board for that, and we were discussing about how we could make part 2 as dark as possible, right, Tiana?
Absolutely. And the darker the better.
So, like for Operation Osiris, looking back at last year when I first
Billions of years ago. Yeah.
when I first mentioned it to you, like what came to your mind? Like, can you tell us, what you thought about the idea?
Right. So I think you started off explaining the idea by asking me to do a military sci-fi that's kind of inspired by SCP, I think.
Uh-huh.
And I think we strayed a little bit from the idea of SCP, but definitely stayed with the military vibe. I also was excited to write military sci-fi because I kind of grew up watching James Cameron movies and stuff like and Paul Verhoeven movies, and I guess I really wanted to write a military sci-fi story, add horror to it, and it's perfect. It's everything I would want to write. So that's kind of the thing that really excited me about writing this particular story, to kind of play with this subgenre in a way. Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think I was driving that day when we were discussing. I was driving on my way to work.
And I think I remember being super anxious about you not paying attention to your driving and talking about all of these crazy ideas about other planets and other galaxies or nebulas, and yeah.
So like I had like the big idea, and then I let you like work on the intricacies of the story.
You told me like this amount of characters, just the general concept what you had, and then I was like, okay, let's make the story. Let's bring these characters to life.
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, can you tell our audiences what Operation Osiris is?
Operation of Osiris is a clandestine operation to basically take over a planet in the Messier 9 nebula.
Mm-hmm.
And the reasons why the Galactic Union, which is kind of like a stand-in, like an evil stand-in for the Star Trek Federation in our universe, basically just wants to colonize other galaxies and nebulas apart from our own. And of course, they have their nefarious reasons why they want to do that. But we also have, I think the audience already knows, Agent Scott and her particular idea, what she wants to do with the sphere, or what she finds there.
Mm-hmm.
So Operation Osiris is basically a bunch of evil people who want to do a bunch of different evil things with what they find on this sphere. So,
you mean like a representation of real life?
Basically, representation of real life. Yeah,
big tech.
Definitely big tech, and I don't want to say colonization, but colonization. So, yeah, it's great when we think about Mars, which isn't populated as far as we know, which isn't populated by any alien creatures. But when a planet or a sphere or whatever belongs to someone else, well, it becomes a problem, right?
You mentioned Star Trek. Would you say like this was like the primary inspiration for the plot?
Listen, I grew up a Trekkie, so I think whether I like it or not, there is always a little bit of Star Trek in everything I do. So I
Right.
can't escape it, even if I tried. So in a way, no, I think maybe Stargate was a little bit more of an conceptual
Stargate.
kind of, conceptually more like
I'm
in
like,
the
oh,
lines of
Stargate, but I haven't watched it.
shame on you. You haven't even seen the movie?
Listen, I'm not that of a sci-fi geek. Like I'm more of
Listen,
like a
I'm gonna send
sci-fi.
you a list of movies that you gotta watch. We previously talked that he hasn't seen Apocalypse Now, and I am personally offended.
Because I'm more
I'm
of like,
kidding.
very visual and stuff. And like
Yeah.
with you, when you come in as a writer, you really introduce a lot of details that bring the story into life. For example, with the character personas,
Right.
how did you come up with the character personas? Like, can you give us like your process of creating those characters?
Well, I think it's kind of different for every story. Sometimes some stories kind of come with the characters in a way, or start with the characters. But in this particular case, I guess, yeah, the story also started with the characters in a way because I already had the framework of having a military team, like a team of soldiers. So you have to have the archetypes, right? You have the hero, which is a Campo. You have the Berg, which is Smith. You have the super educated one, which is Doc. And then you have the rookie, of course, which is Knight. So I guess they kind of started with these archetypes or the kind of basic idea of a character that you always start with, and then they eventually developed as the kind of I figured out the relationships between them. They kind of also developed as characters. So they also helped me a lot with the world building. For some reason, the world building started with the characters. When I started writing the character personas that you asked me to write, I kind of that's where I started working on the world building. I was like, okay, so this character is from the Philippines, but why? In the future, do the Philippines exist, and how? And like things like that. And how would the world develop? And how does the Galactic Union start? And what does that mean? Like things like that. That probably the audience won't ever hear about really. But for me and for the characters, it was important to kind of base the story into something and imagine the greater world around them, or universe or cosmos around them.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they were like, yeah.
and like perfect implementation of the character backgrounds, because yeah, you're welcome. And guys, because like before we got into like writing this, I mentioned to Tiana that we should incorporate some like the real life elements for each of the character. For example, like you said, Chief Ocampo was played by me, and he had a background. He was born and raised in the Philippines, and then was it Florida? He moved to Florida.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Let me just check.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think
basically,
I made Florida like still super important, at least as like an archaeological place, because basically it all started in Florida, in the US, right, with the space travel and everything.
Yeah, and
and I think even Thomas, because he's from New Zealand, I found I read one of the comments which was like, why is everyone that's like a bad guy from like New Zealand or Australia? I laughed when I read that. I was like,
yeah,
that actually wasn't on purpose. And also Smith isn't really a bad character. Like he's not one of the baddies. Trust me, the baddies are super bad.
he's like he's the humor. He's the humor that in the story, just to like ease off the tension.
Definitely.
From
Otherwise, it's gonna be too intense, I think.
Too dark.
Yeah, especially part 2.
Yeah, like going back to the characters, also perfect yeah, like I said, perfect implementation. Like with Kira, I believe she's the youngest in her team, and she played the rookie part, which was perfect. Like
Absolutely.
she nailed that part well. And then also, with
Yeah, I think actually the rookie in this particular story is kind of a complex character, because she, on one hand, she doesn't know a lot of things and she wants to know, but on the other hand, she's actually a very educated young woman and
Mhm.
does have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, and she can make her own decisions. So I really like how Kira played that character.
and for her first major mission, surprisingly,
The toughest
she was
mission.
tough.
Yeah.
And and despite Smith trying to joke her, oh, you must be scared, rookie. She's
Yeah.
she keeps a straight face. She's ready for.
And also jokes on him, because at the end he's the one that's super scared. So
it's very impressive with the character developments that you did, especially Smith being the weapons expert, like having this, I guess, like a daring personality when he went into to check out the bridge. I mean the
yeah,
staircase, the metal
the
staircase.
staircase. Yeah.
Like he disobeyed the direct order and he went out to check the staircase.
Yeah. I wanted him and West to be kind of, born soldiers in a way, kind of like yes, West is a little bit, she's softer, she's nicer, she's not gonna play around, of course, she's gonna protect the others, but the two of them kind of come from a military background, and on the other hand, Jones and Doc and Knight, the rookie, they come from kind of more of an academic background, and they kind of decided to join the military forces in different ways, and from different reasons. And
Right.
I wanted kind of, West and Smith to kind of joke around with them and treat them almost as if they're not like worthy to be soldiers like they were or something like that, just to create a kind of divide within the team a little bit. But at the end of the day, they're still all of them are very loyal to each other.
Yeah, like they all support.
They know their
support
jobs.
each other.
Yeah.
This, speaking of characters, is there a favorite? Do you have a favorite character in the story?
I do, of course. I always do.
Who is it?
I don't know if you're gonna like the answer. It's Scott.
It's
I
Scott.
like
Okay.
Yeah, I like how evil she is. I'm kidding. No, I like that she's
No, go ahead.
one of those super complex characters that actually she didn't start off evil. She was even Ocampo's mentor. She basically taught him everything he knows. And eventually something happened in her life. She got disillusioned or saw too much war, saw too much suffering or whatever happened. And she just became this broken person that wants to take everything for herself. And God knows what she can do with what she can find on the sphere, right? On the Lord of Silence. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be learning a lot about her in part 2.
Hopefully, yeah.
For people wondering, people might be wondering the primary motivation for Scott's like being the villain of the story. Yeah, can you tell us like a little bit how she got to be the villain in this story?
Well, basically, I think what I explained previously about her kind of already explains a little bit about what got her to this place currently, is that, I imagined her as this person that basically became a soldier since the moment she kind of stopped being a teenager, basically.
Mhm.
And that means that she'd been all around, doing all the dirty work that the Galactic Union could possibly ask of her. And she got disillusioned about what they could have possibly, what their particular end goals might be with the galaxy, with the other galaxies. And eventually, she decides basically to take matters into her own hands. And in her mind, I'm sure she's not the villain, right? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna do something now, and I'm gonna better this world or this universe. But you know, she's still she still wants to hurt a lot of people, I think. Because sometimes, like, when people go through a lot of darkness in their life, eventually it's just darkness that comes out of them, I think.
Oh yeah. Especially,
or in the words of Vito Cornelius, who's a character from The Fifth Element, which is one of my favorite movies. He says, "Evil begets evil," right, Mr. President? To finish the quote, but that's the idea. Like, she was kind of born into evil, and I don't know. That's my explanation for her.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Looking.
Don't tell me you haven't seen The Fifth Element, Kian.
The Fifth Element. What is that?
No, that's horror. I'm kidding.
That's even scarier than the story. You're right.
Right. No, it's actually a beautiful movie. It had a beautiful ending.
I think I've seen it before.
It's
Wait,
like
you said The Fifth Element?
The Fifth Element, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm thinking about The Fifth Wave.
No. Okay, I'm making
it was crappy, by the way. I mean,
yeah, The Fifth Wave was crappy.
I think, yeah.
The Fifth Element came out in the 90s, so you were probably a kid when it came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about The Fifth Wave or something.
Oh no, I would never recommend that.
Chloe Grace Moretz, right?
Right.
Looking at the story as a whole, there are a lot of creative elements. The characters, the plot, the sound design.
Sound design. Perfect.
How did you There's really a lot of intricacies that go into the story, and I mean, in this case, a script. And just to let you know, guys, the story was written in a script format, just so it's easier for the voice actors to follow along the lines assigned to them. So, like I said, a lot of creative elements. Like, how do you organize your thoughts when writing the script?
Sometimes it depends on the story itself or the script itself. In this particular case, I think that everything we talked about before, when you kind of gave me the idea and pitched me the idea to write, I think organizing it between like world building and character personas and outline kind of helped me figure out where each part goes. So even before I would start with writing it. And then kind of figuring out the pace was an interesting thing to kind of figure out, where do we start in the story, and do you just throw the characters in? And I remember actually that it was your idea to have the briefing in the beginning, so that we can just like...
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was like, you said that you would like the briefing to be in the beginning to kind of give the mood of the story. And that definitely helped me organize my thoughts even better, because I already had an idea. The world building was kind of almost already there. The kind of explanation of why the story happens, right?
Yeah, like speaking of that intro, like in the beginning, it was the mission briefing. Guys, like I want to, the inspiration for that was from the short film from the SCP from Evan Royalty. It's wait, what's the
I think the name
SCP.
I remember the name of the movie was The Overlord, I think.
Yeah, SCP Overlord. There you go.
Yeah.
SCP Overlord. So I told Tiana, I was like, hey, I want the scene to open up like this, kind of like a mission briefing. And originally Ajax was actually female.
Yeah.
I switched it to a male version, because accidentally I didn't realize that Ajax was female, and then but I already reached out to
Listen, from a feminist
Zer0
perspective,
Option.
it's better that it's not female, because it's like all the baddies are female in the story. So yeah, I agree. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Zer0 Option did a really good job on that mission briefing and playing the
Amazing
role
job.
as Ajax. What,
Thank you so
what do you
much
think?
for that, of course, to him.
Not like a lot of the audiences really appreciate the sound design of the story. What do you think about and like thanks a lot to Claire, by the way. He's from France, and I've been working with him since November or December last year, and this was his first big project with us as when
Holy
he
moly.
formally joined the team. And so what do you think, Tiana? Did he do a great justice to bringing life to your story?
I was floored when I was listening to the story, honestly. Not just like Claire did an absolutely amazing job, and like I told you, it felt like I was listening to the soundtrack of a movie that was playing somewhere in the background where I couldn't see it. And I was super happy the way he did it. But it's not just him, like every single voice talent and actor in the story, how every single one of you kind of brought these characters to life and gave them your own spin. Absolutely amazing. I really loved and enjoyed listening to it. And it's so strange sometimes listening to someone else kind of voice these characters that have been inside your mind for such a long time.
Ajax.
Yeah. Ajax especially, of course. I did imagine Ajax a little bit different. But even like even if I had you guys in mind when I was writing some of the characters, it was still different hearing you actually voicing them and kind of giving them all of these other things that I didn't necessarily think of.
Like in a good way or a bad way?
In a great way. In a great way, because you know, you can say a line 50 million different times, right? And the way an actress says the line makes the character something completely different. And that's, I think, I love that part of making these stories here, and especially the audio dramas. So everyone did an amazing job.
Oh yeah, especially like my favorite was
especially everyone.
I asked you before, like, what was your favorite character, and you said the villain. But mine was Smith, because he was very dynamic, and you know, like that one line that really got me like laughing was when they were discovering the planet, and then he was about to approach the staircase, and then Wes says something like, I forgot what the line was, and then
she's not gonna get rid of me that easily.
Smith goes, "No, worried, West?"
Right.
That one line, oh my god, like it was very dynamic how Thomas delivers the lines for.
Yeah, and I think that's a difficult part in the story and the way I wrote it. So Thomas like really knew how to like deliver those lines, which were like basically parts of words thrown in here and there. So yeah, great job.
Gotcha. So let's get into some of the comments that we have and some of the questions that we also have for the story.
Yeah. I think also that you should answer some of the questions as well, because I'm sure the audience would like to hear from you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Maybe like also like share your general opinion of how everything turned out and how satisfied you are or unsatisfied.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, starting off with something positive. You know, this was by Lori Peters. Lori says,
Lori
says, "Holy smokes, that was definitely epic. Fantabulous work from all of the crew. I absolutely loved it. Thank you to all of the people who joined in on this project. hopefully this can happen again this year. Thank you so much, Lori. That was an
Thank you.
amazing comment. Yes, it is going to happen. Part 2 is going to be in the works within the next few months. And shout out, of course, to the special guests that we had in this story, the Dark Somnium, Zer0 Option, and Mrs. Nightmare, for their time and effort into bringing the characters to life.
And the amazing job they did bringing their characters to life.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's see. Next comment. Let's do another positive. Andrew says, "This is exactly what I want from Dark Cosmos. I love it when y'all can have multiple narrators together, all on some doomed crew in space or ocean."
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, kudos to Tiana, for bringing it to space. Wow, I like really far out there in space, and creating a
Different
dark
galaxy.
future, a dark future for our characters.
The darkest. I'm so sorry.
Okay, let's take a look into a question. Let's see. Oh, as legend has it, says, nice. Now when is part 2 coming? Oh yeah, like I said, probably later this year. Maybe give it, I don't know, August or September maybe, because we have several projects pending, and we'll be working on it for sure for part 2. Oh, someone left a comment a few days ago, and then he also left a comment this morning from Daryl. Daryl says, and I want you to answer for first, Tiana, for this one.
Okay.
Daryl asks, how do you manage private life and the massive amount of work that goes into your videos? Do you guys have a second job? I know that your team is quite big, but I still wonder. I've been asking that question a few times. If it doesn't come up now, but yeah, he asks, how do you manage private life and massive amount of work that goes into your videos?
What's that private life thing you're talking about?
I guess in general is what Daryl was referring to.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think the amount of work I compare to the amount you do is incomparable, because you have this entire channel and all of this huge team to manage. But for me, it's kind of I guess like everyone manages their work, because I work as a freelance writer generally, and to me that's like that's my job, that's my day job. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky to do what I love doing for now, because like the economy is the way it is.
Do you have a second job, or are you like solely focusing on freelance writing?
Currently just freelance writing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Any partner right now?
No, like I said, no personal life currently.
Yeah.
Just a cat to take care of.
How many?
Oh, one. How many? Jesus,
Oh.
I'm not a cat lady. Come on.
I don't know. Like some have like, I don't know.
I'm lying. I am
10.
a cat lady.
I thought you were
just
going to say
one.
10 cats or something.
Yeah, I'm building up to it.
But to answer your question, Daryl, I used to have 3 jobs, including this one, managing the team and producing the videos. I worked full-time at Walmart, as some of you already know. Like I worked night shift there at a fulfillment center, and I used to work at a high school to supplement my income because having one job here in California is not enough. And to balance life, I don't know, man. Like, I don't have any kids. I don't have a girlfriend. I just want to focus on like building this channel to be the best sci-fi channel out there. Oh, I'm sorry, it's already the best. Sorry, Scary Juju and Magnetar. But we're already the best. But I want it to be, like really big, of course, like grow and like really bring you guys exciting stories moving forward.
Original stories, which is
Oh yeah,
the big difference.
original stories. Let me see. Daryl asked a second question, and I think this will be under me. He says, how bad is it with people downloading your videos on third-party websites versus listening directly from YouTube? Do you notice any problems there? I hope not. Greetings from Croatia. Well, Daryl,
Oh,
thank you.
Zdravo do Hrvatska.
Well, I was gonna say thank you for your question before I was rudely interrupted by Tiana.
I'm so sorry. I was just saying hi to Croatia in my own language because I'm from the Balkans as well.
Cool. Thank you for tuning in from Croatia. It's not big of a deal, like you're probably referring to the disclaimer. I mean the notice that we have at the start of the video, wherein like if you see parts of our videos in other platforms, then send an email to me. I already removed that notice, just because I think the better like the higher visibility we get, then that's additional eyeballs and ears for the channel. So it's not a big deal anymore. So yep, that answers that question. Moving back to the story, I think there was let me browse through these comments again. By the way, Tiana, have you read the comments? Well, of course you did, right?
Yeah, of course I did. I don't always answer, but I do peek a little bit. Of course.
Cherry Clark. Don't cry, Masha says, wow, that was super awesome. Like watching a great sci-fi movie. Thank you, DC crew and guests. Dark Somnium is the top of the tops. I love his work. This is some next level shit. Oh no. This is some next level video. Thank you so much. Of course, Masha. A lot of work, a lot of effort, and has been put into this story to really bring it to life. And like I said, I can't thank Tiana enough for really creating a story that's like both terrifying and fascinating at the same time.
Thank you so much to you and to the commenter, of course. And I think what I really love about the story is that we kind of almost all of us came together to kind of work on it. And I think we need to find a way how we can put all of the writers into one story as well, and just see what we will come up with together, and maybe do different parts from one story or write it together. Or others would of course think about this, but I think that would be also cool, and also have the entire team and maybe guests again. And I don't know, am I making too much work for you? Just stop me if you want.
No, we already.
But I think that would be actually kind of cool to see what we could come up with together,
we actually already pulled that off sometime last year. It was one of our previous writers, Jason and
Uh-huh.
Danny, when they
Oh, for
created,
the Dark God?
yeah, the Dark God.
Ah,
Yep.
right, right.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah.
Parts 1 to 3 was written by Danny, and then I had Jason work on parts 3 to 6. Um, like he had to go through the first 3 parts to continue the story. So we could definitely pull something. Create something like that again, like having the writers.
Yeah, but something that will get us like talking together and kind of brainstorming together instead of just like trying to figure out each other's work. Just like figure out the story together.
Gotcha.
And Danny will balance
And
my
that's why we have the
darkness.
Discord.
Right.
Oh yeah, Danny's like pretty strong with pretty good with the dramatic scenes. I think
Yeah.
like, and I'm joking this with her too, because she lives in Venezuela, and they have those really like dramatic telenovelas, and
Right.
it's very similar to what we have in the Philippines, where the drama, like Western drama versus
Listen, I'm also from
Eastern
the
drama.
Balkans, so we are all about drama here, believe me.
Eastern drama is very different. Like it
Right.
tugs at your heartstrings. Like there's slaps and hair pulling and a lot of like
Right.
physical stuff.
No, I'm aware. Trust me. We also get a lot of Turkish telenovelas here, and they're kind of made after that kind of similar concept to what you're talking about. So it's like, whoa, super. Everybody's somebody's family. Everybody wants to kill somebody. Everyone loves everyone. It's crazy. It's a different kind of horror as well.
Okay, moving back to the comments, Jeannie, and this is perfect for you, Tiana. Jeannie Bosch. Jeannie says, I'd guess that the sphere is some sort of spaceship or possible Stargate, considering that there's 3 pyramids beneath the outer layer of metal debris. So the story has to be tied. So the story has to be tied to ancient Egypt and the myths of their gods. Wonder what alien tech the female captain is trying to capture.
Well, I think that
away,
to answer this question, I'm gonna have to tell you what part 2 is all about. So I'm just gonna say that it is tied to ancient Egypt, but not directly. So it won't have anything to do with our gods. But the concept of Osiris and what it symbolizes, I think that was what kind of eventually kicked off the idea of the pyramids as well, and the kind of darkness of the sphere that they find. But yeah, the sphere it's not a planet, it's some kind of something else, which you will have to listen to part 2 to figure out.
Yep. There you go, Jeannie. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
We'll leave you some breadcrumbs, but we're not gonna give you the whole toast.
Yeah, I mean the technology. I think we also say in the story is neurotechnology. So that's as direct as I'm gonna go with the answer.
Neurotechnology? Are we talking about, is Elon Musk involved?
Oh my God. This terrible future is all his fault? No.
Did he transfer his consciousness into a planet?
Oh my God! Stop! You're giving me ideas.
Oh. There you go. There you have it, guys. Part 2.
Yeah.
Being rewritten in real time.
Yeah.
Let's go with Jake. Jake says that was pretty awesome. Other than the ending, is it a safe assumption that this was a part 1? Love when you guys collaborate. That's so cool. Really love the graphics on this one too. Thank you so much for doing these. You guys are saving my life, believe it or not. Oh, You're welcome, Jake. Um, and
Thank you for the beautiful comment.
Yeah. What do you think about what Jake said?
The cliffhanger ending. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
got
we answered that.
Yeah. That was planned. Sorry. Yeah, but that's all I have to say about it. Except thank you for your beautiful words, and I hope we don't disappoint with part 2 and all the other stories. Yeah.
And I think the part that got me was when he said, "You guys are saving my life, believe it or not." Well,
Definitely.
if you're in a challenging time, Jake, we wish you well, and we're glad that we're able to, I guess, alleviate the pain or suffering that you're going through right now.
Absolutely.
Let's do a critic, someone from Bunny. Bunny says, I have a hard time believing Lewis is commander of a spec ops team with the way he has conducted this operation. You never turn your back to a potential threat unless you have no choice. Them not taking the time to look at the ship in orbit was one of the first major mistakes. Miss Tiana, what do you think about that comment?
Well, you're ruthless. You're kind of right. However, I think that Luis Ocampo himself kind of explains it in the story, why he decides to push on forward. But honestly, like, I'm gonna be straight with you right now. I'm gonna tell you that I needed him not to check the ship in orbit so that I can have something hiding in there for you to figure out in part 2 and to see what else is there. I don't know if they would discover what's on the ship on the Orca 1 would make things easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
Might have made it worse. So,
or it might have not made a difference.
Or it might not have made a difference. Exactly. So don't be so quick to judge Ocampo. He knows what he's doing. Just like his plans are kind of on a different level.
Plus, like speaking of mistakes, like the orcas.
And also, I love when characters make mistakes. Like, sure, he's a soldier. He's like a spec ops commander. But come on, like, no one's perfect,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the orcas, like, just a little bit of trivia. The orcas are like the equivalent of the Navy SEALs, right?
Yeah.
Tiana?
Yeah.
So the cream of the crop, basically.
Exactly. But even they make mistakes. I mean, come on, they have to. They're still human. Yeah.
So, moving on to another comment by Grumpy Cat.
Wow, like the name.
But the comment is not grumpy at all. So thankfully.
Okay.
Grumpy Cat says, not done listening yet, but the vibes and first 2 minutes in have me pumped. Started doing work around the house, then I heard that voice and had to stop. No way Somnium could be here, right? Wrong. I think like there are some similar comments that says, like
it's all about the vibes.
They can't believe that Dark Somnium came in. But yeah, he was in. I reached out to him. Took a couple messages to get to him, but thankfully he responded and he was down to the idea.
Did you message him after the story was already written or even before?
After.
A little bit of trivia. Yeah.
I think, trivia, because I reached out to him 2 days before Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what? I was thinking,
spirit.
He's gonna be busy, but I was like,
yes.
You know what? Like, forget that. Like, I'm gonna reach out. Like, like if I don't reach out now, when am I going to reach out? So I reached out to him and he got back to me.
Nice.
Oh, the motivator says, anything with Dark Somnium in it, I'm always going to love. Besides, you already know I'm going to watch regardless. Next goal, excuse me. Next goal is to get Vidith 22. Well, the motivator, hate to break it to you, but we already have Vidith 22 on board. It's what's the it's for the story written by Danny. And you've probably seen it, one of our teaser posters for the lost recordings of the USS Dreadnought.
Exciting.
The lost recordings. Ooh. But yeah, there you have it. We already have Vidith 22 on board.
Yeah. We have a few WTFs in the comments as well. Those are always my favorite. Like, which part? And why?
One more comment by Blissfully Lala. Oh my gosh,
Ah.
Blissfully Lala is one of our most loyal listeners.
Absolutely. And greetings from North Macedonia to you. Thank you for listening to all of our stories. I love reading your comments.
And she's not too far off from me. She's 2 states away in Washington.
Nice.
Yeah. Shows Blissfully Lala says, my lovely TDC crew, I hope your week is stellar and you're having the best day ever. That was an epic collab. Glad I caught it live. Well, thank you for making it to the premiere. Much love and respect. You are appreciated. God bless. God bless you too, Lala. She always leaves comments on our video.
And I remember her at during the premiere as well. She was active in the chat as well. Yeah.
Let's see. I think there was a question.
I love the TDC community. I love that people like jump in and leave a comment, and sometimes they just do it for the algorithm, but even that's appreciated, and it's nice. It's nice to have a community like that on YouTube, right?
Exactly. Oh, here comes a critic, and she's my fault. Timothy Freebie says, Ensign, just kidding. Ensign is pronounced as ensign, not ensign. I really enjoyed the production, but that really pulled me out of the immersion.
Oh, dude.
Timothy, I'm so sorry.
All this work we did. That's just one thing.
Yeah, like 5 months in the making, down the trash. Boom.
Yeah. Done. Over.
Well, you know what, Timothy?
Over, yeah.
Thank you for your comment and thank you for listening to the story. This was my fault because at first, actually, when Teresa sent her lines for what did you play again?
Scott?
Scott.
Yeah.
When Teresa sent her lines for Scott, when she pronounced ensign as ensign, and I was like, that's the first time I've heard it pronounced like that, because and she mentioned that she's a Star Trek fan, so that's why. Yeah, she loves Star Trek, so that's how.
So next time you tell me that Teresa's gonna read one of my stories, she's gonna get some Star Trek inspired thing.
But yeah, it was my fault. I did re-record some of the lines, but like somewhere down the line, I was like, oh, it's too much. It's too much, and I had to send my lines over to Claire, our sound designer. So I wasn't able to re-record those lines anymore. So sorry about that. Ensign.
Come on, it's a compost thing. We can say, like, that's what makes him different and special, right?
Yeah, like I'm Filipino. We pronounce things in a different way, all right?
And someone that also has an accent and probably pronounces things in all kinds of weird ways. So Yeah.
And
I get it. I get you, Kian. Totally.
I'm gonna drag Ronnie with this one too, because he said Ensign Knight too. I don't know if you caught that, but he did say
No.
the Dark Somnium said Ensign as well.
There you go. So, tomatoes. You know. I
think
also
we
had
could
to point out one, if you don't mind. Can I choose one comment?
Go ahead.
So, torpedoes in space? Yes, sir. Yes, there are torpedoes in space. Because, like I said, if Starfleet can have them, why can't we? And I'm sticking with that answer completely. Absolutely. Plus, I didn't explain what kind of torpedo, so maybe they do have a very special, spacey, cosmic explanation.
Good.
So, yeah.
All right, so that's enough for the comments. And also thank you to Jarrell for sending in that question. Let's wrap things up by ending with one last question. You know, as we've discussed here, a lot of people, Tiana, a lot of people are requesting, even demanding a sequel. So we already answered that, but can you give us a little bit of what listeners can expect for part 2? Can you give us a little teaser of some sorts?
Maybe the worst that's gonna happen in the story in part 2 isn't inside the sphere, but in its orbit. I would say that.
Ooh.
That would be the teaser.
Uh-oh. That's it?
That's it. I don't.
That's all they get?
Yep. And a lot of things are maybe hidden already in the story in part 1. Or not. I don't know. Maybe listen to it again and you see.
Yes, listen to it again.
Yeah.
All right, so this was our very first behind the scenes interview for Operation Osiris, just to entertain you guys a little more, like give you a background or like a little understanding of what happens in the story, the technical details, and also trivia about the story that you never knew.
Yep.
And I want to
thank you for asking me to be the first person to do a BTS interview.
Thank you so much for coming in, Tiana. And do you have anything to say to our audiences?
Keep listening and stay cosmic. I stole your line.
Stay cosmic.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.